Hello, this is Rio2016 from Curbal.com, and what I'm going to do today is we're going to build a Power BI report from scratch. So you will see where I import the data, how I transform it with Power Query, and then we will do visualizations. The report we're going to do is the Summer Olympics. So we will do the medal count by location, by athletes, and by sports. I'm going to publish this as the entire video for the entire report, but I will also cut the video in parts because it's going to be a very long video and you might want to see it in parts instead. Just choose a format that fits you best, and let's begin. So the first thing we're going to do is to start from scratch, from a new blank file. Now, as you probably have seen, I have a template, a Power BI template with a calendar. And always seems that you don't need a calendar until you're actually building the report. It's very, very seldom that you don't need it. So I always start with Power BI calendar. And then if I don't need it, I can delete it. But it's more work to build it afterwards. So the first thing we do is to build a calendar, which is very easy with our template. You can download this template, by the way, in our site. So I will post the link to that. So we will do it from, July 11th, English, and the week starts on Monday. So, load. There you have it. This is a link for the template. We don't need it. So now that we have our date calendar, what we're going to do is we want to get in the Olympics data. So for that, we're going to use the data from Rio2016 site. Is the best structured data I have found, and they of course keep everything updated. So if you click on medals, you have the possibility to choose if you want by countries, athletes, sports, and let's start with countries. Is the easiest one. And here we have the table with all the countries that have received medals. It's not all the countries that participate. It's the difference. So here we have them. So what we need to do is to copy this and go back to our Power BI file and then start importing the data. We're going to import these as web. Paste it there. Okay. And now you can see what data you can actually import from the source. Here is the HTML code, which is not interesting for us. And here we have the table that we're looking for. You can inspect those yourselves. So here's the table we want. Click Edit. And here we get a list. As you can see, this list does not look really like this list, right? There are some things here, and then there are columns, blank columns everywhere. And well, we need to clean this up if we're going to make it useful. But before starting to clean it up, I want to show you what this list thing is doing. If we go back to the site and you click on the United States, it will give us the medal, the sport, like subcategory for the sport, and then it will give us the athlete. So we will know which athlete has won which medal in which sport. And when you import that data into Power BI, those things is what you see here. Now for the medal table, we don't want those, so we're going to filter them out. There are a lot of ways to filter them out. This is probably the uncleanest, but it works. I just want the columns where it says null, like empty. And then I get a clean list of, right, the rank, the country code, and then gold, silver, bronze, and total. Now, everything else we don't want. So if we just click here and then remove others, they will disappear. And this is a very good way to do it, because if additional columns will come up that were not in the initial load, they will also disappear. So it's a better way to clean the data. So what we're going to do now is to give them proper names to these columns. So click on it, press F2, and then we call this rank. So let's give these proper names. This is ranking. You press F2, and then this is the country code, and then this is the country, and then we have here gold, and we have here silver, bronze, and here is our total. And now we are going to give them a proper name. So we can call these overall medals. So once we have that, we can close and apply. And here we have the data that we need, right? We forgot to give them let's see. You see, we have to change the field types so it is correct, otherwise it will give us headaches later on. So these and there, they are text. And these ones are whole numbers. Nobody's going to win a half medal, right? Perhaps they can, I'm not sure. Well, I don't want them to win half medals. So let's do it again. And here we have, as you see, the fields that are numbers, they have the epsilon symbol, and that's why I realized that I didn't change the field types. We're going to do something else. We're going to go to the data, and then the overall medals, and here in rank, we're going to say do not summarize, right? Because then we can use it. Like, you know, we can filter them ascending as descending. So with these, if we look at our original dashboard, the one that we're trying to imitate, we can start building some of these, right? So let's do that. We're going to get the country code not useful at all. So let's hide it. We get country, and then we have total, silver, gold, and bronze. There you go. And now let's put this in order. Total, the last, and then gold, and then silver. We want to have it, it's so small, so we almost don't see it. A little bigger. And there we go. So if we go back to our original dashboard, the one there we're trying to replicate, here's a filter. It is a title we have the image. We'll do all the cosmetic stuff at the end. And we have a bar chart that is continent, subcontinent, and country. Now, we don't have continent. We have country, but we don't have continent and subcontinent. It's not available in the data that we downloaded. And I haven't found any good resources for that you have like a real complete list of countries and regions and continents. So what I always use for my location table is Google Analytics. If you don't have Google Analytics, you can let me know and I can just give you an Excel file with my data. That's okay. Otherwise, if you have Google Analytics, just use it because it's an excellent source for geographical location. So let's do that. We're going now to get data again. And then more. And then we are going to search for Google Analytics. We're going to get the one that has most records, which is this site. Here. And here we want continent, country. We don't actually need country, we already have country. But we need the country ISO code. We need subcontinent. And then you always need a metric to be able to download data from Google Analytics. So you have to pick something, sessions or users or whatever you like. It just doesn't matter. And that's all we need. So we click on edit. We will do some changes to that data too. So the first thing we want to do is to remove sessions. We don't need them at all. Once we've done that, we are going to remove all data that does not have a continent. So what do we have here? We have a continent, a subcontinent, and a country ISO code. This is a 2-digit ISO code. And from the Rio site, we have a country code that is the Olympics country code, 3-digit. So we need to convert the Olympic country code to the 2-digit ISO code. Unfortunately, I didn't find any source that had that conversion, but I did find a source that had the Olympics to the ISO 3-digit, and then it's easy to convert the ISO 3-digit to the ISO 2-digit. So we need to do that. So we will do it in steps. The first thing we're going to do is to download the conversion table between the ISO code and the 3-digit ISO code and the Olympic code. I have here the source is from Wikipedia. So let's go there. So Wikipedia is a great source for Power BI. The reason for that is because most of the data, they have it on tables and you can easily pick that up with Power BI. I'm going to show you. So what we have here is the country name, and then we have the Olympic name and the ISO 3-digit country code. So we're going to grab this. So we copy this, go to new source, web, paste, and you have to inspect what you actually can get. Here is again the HTML code. And here is a table with something else that we don't need. And here we have the table that actually is giving us what we need is the country, the Olympic code, and then the ISO code. So we click on it and we grab that. We don't need to refresh it. So what we need to do here is like a very simple cleanup. Remove what we don't want. If I don't want, thank you. And it has the right data type, so we are done. The only thing left is to change the name. Let's say US ISO 3, for example. You can call it anything. So now we have the Olympics code and the ISO 3-digit code, and we need the ISO 3-digit code to the ISO 2-digit code. So if we go to my next source, which is also Wikipedia, let's look at how it looks. Let's see how it looks. So here we have the name of the country, the ISO 2 code, and the ISO 3 code. Those we don't need at all. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. We copy, new source from web. Okay. And now, again, you have to go in and look, see what Wikipedia is actually giving us. And this is the one that we want. So we select it and okay. We could have actually done these two in one, but I rather have different sources and different tables, because then I can easily see that this is coming somewhere else if the connection breaks for some reason. What we're going to do now is the same that we did with the previous one. We remove what we don't want. Don't want the country name, don't want those two. Gone. And now you have two options. You can either merge Google Analytics table with these, or you can merge the codes together. I prefer to everything that is related to have it together, so I'm going to merge the Olympic codes with this table. So you click on merge queries, and then this is the Olympics. You get the Alpha 3 code, which is the ISO 3 code, 3-digit code, together with these. And now we want all from this list that matches this one. We expand and we just want the Olympic code, nothing else. So, there you go. The next thing we will do is remove all the codes that do not have an Olympics, that are not in the Olympics, don't need that data. Let's see, I don't like one with a new column. Let's remove that. So it's called, yeah, perfect. And then we filter out, sure, it's complaining because I changed the name. So let's change it also there. So there you go. And now we have a table that gives us a correlation between the Olympic country code back to the ISO 2 code, which is what we had in Google Analytics, right? So if we change these to geographical data, for example, So what we will do now is import, or merge is a proper word, merge the Google Analytics geographical data together with this one. We have to give it a better name, which is our conversion table, right? And now we have 2-digit code, 2-digit code, and we want all rows from both. So if there are any mismatches, we can pick them up. So we'll do that. Okay. And now we expand. The only thing we want is the Olympic code. So, and now we have it. We don't actually need the ISO code, so we can remove it. So here we have the Olympic code. In the overall medals, we have the Olympic code, so we can actually match these two together, which is quite good. Let's change the name to ISO 2-3-digit or something, so we know what it is. And these two tables, we don't want them to load to the model. These are just support tables for us. So let's load this into our model. And now we need to create a relationship between our Olympic code and the country code, right? So once we have that, we can go to continent. Oh, one thing to do also is, once you have geographical data, tell Power BI what it is, because they normally don't do a good job identifying the data. So you go here to modeling, you select, and then here in data category, you say this is continent. There is nothing for subcontinent, but there is something for country. So we want to do the same there. You want to go there, country, and then you pick not county, country. There you go. So now we have Africa, America, Asia, Europe, Oceania, and we want to have total medals, for example. And then we want to do this bar chart. And we want to be able to drill down. So let's do that. So if we make this big and we activate the drill down function, I think this is a horrible function, but until you can actually click directly. So you click in there, you go to Europe, and then you see the countries. We can of course sort these by total. That would make more sense. So France is doing best in their region. If we go to, Western, how we look is Southern Europe. Italy is doing fantastic. Congratulations. Spain, we're not so good. But we've seen that we have here some blanks also. And what it says here is Korea. And the reason for that, I have looked into the data, is that Korea, Google Analytics has South Korea but not North Korea. So that's why it doesn't find a country or a continent. That can be fixed. But it is the reason why it is blank, completely blank. So now we have our geographical table is starting to look a little bit more like our original one, right? We have we can do that later. Actually, we don't have that data yet. So we have our chart bar, and here we have rank, country, and we have flags. That's interesting. So if we go back to we are going to have rank, and we put it first. Rank first. So, and because we said don't summarize, we can actually, no, we cannot. Why not? Oh, so sorry. I said wrong. My God. What we need to do is to convert these as a number. And then don't summarize, and that's why you get the correct order. Okay, perfect. So what we want to do now is to add the flags, right? They look quite cool. To add that, we need to find the source that has structured data. I have looked everywhere, and there are different sources. With the structured data, I mean, here is the source that I have used, and it says search flags by country. If we go to, for example, Afghanistan, here has flags of different sizes, and this is the size that I've chosen. And you see their URL, it says the domain name, and then countries, and then the name of the country, a number, small, and Afghanistan. So let's go to the next flag, Albania. It has exactly the same structure. So it has the domain name, the countries, the name of the country, number one, small, and the name of the country. So we can actually reproduce that to build URLs for the flags, because we have the name of the countries. So this is what we will do next to build these URLs to be able to import the flags in our model. So for this report to work, you will need to have internet at all times, otherwise the pictures won't display, as I don't have them locally in my computer. So let's do that. Again, we go back to edit queries. So to get the flags URL, we need to have the country name. And I like to have the country names, or no. So to be able to build the flag URLs, we need to have the country name. I like to have data that is related in the same table, so it's easy for me and for users to find. So everything that has with geography to do, I always put it in the geography table. Now we have here on the overall medals, country and country code. We don't need this here, basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to move country to our Google Analytics data. The reason why I'm not getting or taking the country name from Google Analytics is because they are using different name conventions, which means that if you look then at the report, the name of the country might change, and then you will have trouble if you want to do some search on the Rio page, which it would be a pity. So I rather use the country names from the source that we're taking the data from, or that is more important. So we're going to import the geographical data. We're going to import the country data from the overall medals into Google Analytics. geographical data. And we do it with merge queries. We take overall medals, and then here we have country code together with the Olympics country code. And here we are going to get all rows from both, so we don't lose anything. And we want the country. So now the interesting part is there any, oh, sorry, I forgot that one. So is there any country name that doesn't have a continent or a subcontinent? And we want to know that because we want to know if we're missing any data. So if I select all the all the Olympic countries, I should see if any of them are missing the data. And as you see, we have Kosovo, we have the international independent Olympic athletes, and then we have Korea. So we need to do something about these three, right? So they showed up correctly into our model, because now we're using these as a key. So Kosovo and independent Olympians, they will not appear in our tables at all. So for that, we're going to need to create these IOC codes, these missing IOC codes. And there are different ways to do it. You could do something in an Excel file and then import it. But Power BI has the possibility for you to add custom data, which I think is actually very, very useful. So you keep all the important data in the model. And in this case, we're trying to use only external sources. So it would be a pity that you will have a file somewhere that you have to remember to update, or you don't, when you move your file somewhere else, so on the computer, you lose the connection. So let's create that missing countries table. So we make sure that even if we don't have a continent or a subcontinent, which we could actually add, we still make sure that the data appears for them when it comes to medals, athletes, and sports. So to do that, we are going to build our custom table. Click here on Enter Data. And here we have our IOC code. And then we need our 2-digit code. Now, I'm not going to write the same title, just so you see what happens. So here is IOA, and here we make it up. And here is Kosovo, and here is, I don't remember, XCO or something. So we give it a name, missing tables. Wait, no, missing countries. And now we do append. So we are going to add to what we already have. Missing countries, okay. If we don't have the same name, this 2-digit code, we want it to end up here. And as you see, it ends up as a new row, and we don't want that. So we need to have exactly the same title. So we have to go back and call it exactly the same. When you do that, voila, it just shows up where it should. So now we have our complete table. There is no continent and subcontinent for those. Korea does have it, but the international independent Olympics athletes does not. So there's nothing to write there. We will fix that later on. But now we can start fixing the flags, right? The flags icons, because we have a country. So the first thing I do is just to believe that all these country names are correct and just pretend it and build the URL without worrying about that. We will see when the flag does not appear that there's something wrong with the country name. So we go back to the site. This is the URL we need to build. We copy it. We click on add column, custom. And now we need to separate the parts that are dynamic, right? That we need to change with our own data. So here, instead of Albania, we need our country. Concatenate with one small, remove Albania, country, and here we have them. We should give them a better name. Flags URL, something like that. No, flags icon. So, let's see. So for the flag icons to actually work, we need to do something else here. Oh, I remember to disable this. We have to go to the flag icons and we have to categorize it as an image. So once we've done that, we can throw it in and hopefully start to see some flags. And you see that, yeah, most of the flags are there, but not all of them, unfortunately. Puerto Rico, that was new. Republic of Moldova, United. So what happens here basically is that these countries, they are called something else, or they do not exist. For example, Kosovo does not exist on that website, so a flag will never appear there. Same for the International Olympic Athletes. They are not a country, so they do have a flag, but not in a country website. So what we need to do here is either we say, okay, we're happy, or we change the names. But for that, we need to know what the names actually are. So we have to go to the website and find the true names. We have United States. It's called United States of America. So we need to go to Power BI, edit query, here, and again we want to keep the country name the same that is on the Rio site, so it's easy to compare for the user. So we're going to do duplicate column for that, and we're going to change the names here instead. So we're going to replace United States with United States of America. And we're going to move one step up. Oh, sorry. We're going to move this one step down. because now the URL will not be formed with country, but with country copy, right? Remove that. Don't know what he's complaining about. So I have 2 brackets here. That was a problem. So, okay. And now let's check if the United States flag appears. And it does not, okay? Oh, sure, it does not. I forgot one thing. Let's check with the United States. That works too. If we click on the flag, when a country has spaces in the name, then the site does an underscore, and we have to build that on our report, which we haven't done it. That's why so many flags have failed. So we need to go back to our query, and we have to go here, and our duplicated column, we need to do a replace values. So we are going to replace space by underscore. So you see, South Africa. So it will match what we have there. And now let's see if it does better. So here we have our flag. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video and change the rest of the countries. It's not many, but I mean the procedure is the same, so you don't need to watch me do it. And I'll come back when it's done. So now we have almost all the flags in place. The ones that are not is just because they are not available from the source. But it's like 99% of the flags, so this is good enough. So we have our continent table, we have our flag table. We did have a filter for a country, so we can add it there and bring the search in case somebody wants to do it. So now the only thing that we have left is to create the title. For that, we are going to create a new measure. And we are going to call it title for overall medals. And this is an if is filtered. So if country is filtered, so then we want you to write total medal count for, concatenate with, here we need the table and the column that will concatenate, and how. So otherwise, this is American, so otherwise write total medal count by application. And where is it now? So we are going to move it to the place that it should be, which is overall medals, and put it there as a card. So let's see if it works. Yeah, perfect. Works excellent. Good. There is a video on how to create these that I go in detail what it actually everything means, so I will post a link in case you want to go deep into that. I have seen here that I forgot missing countries should not be here, it's just a support table, so let's remove that. That should not load into the model, into the report area, if we call it like that. So perfect. So now we have the, let's remove that, overall medals dashboard. We will not do these filtering by the type of medal, because I am using the a measure from another table. So when we have downloaded this table, I will show you how we will complete this. But otherwise, we're good to go. So I think I'll stop here for the short videos. We will continue on part 2, so make sure you check it out. I hope you liked the video, and if you have any questions, just let me know. I will be happy to help, and please subscribe. I publish around a video a week. Thanks. Bye.